102.7 WMOM, Pentwater, Ludington, Shelby, and all of West Michigan. It's 8 o'clock. Good morning and welcome to Leading West Michigan, a show about success and featuring local leaders and people in local business. And now here's your host, Ryan Howe.
All right, good morning, West Michigan. We have a great show for you today. I'm Ryan Howe, founder of Summit Business Guides. I help businesses like the law firm of Basham & Scott, Matthew Six Construction, Safe Harbor Credit Union, find and retain A players, drive profitable processes, and eliminate chaos. Why wait? Start your business transformation today. Follow Summit Business Guides on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Connect with me on LinkedIn and learn more at summitbusinessguides.com. So this show is all about learning about our guest leadership journey, and joining us today is the Ludington City Manager, Mitch Foster. Morning, Mitch.
Good morning, Ryan.
Great to have you on here. So I had the opportunity, make sure I get this right here, at the Rotary auction that was on over this week.
Yep.
I got outbid for any number of things, which at the last minute, which was frustrating, but that's part of the deal. I was sitting by Karen Halderman. Is my
Karen Halderman? Yep.
Yeah, I was sitting by her, and I just mentioned that you were going to be on here. She's like, "Oh yeah, it's my boss, that guy."
Oh,
she's like, and she gave me like 5 or 6 things we're not going to discuss, though.
That's smart. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, she's like, in case you need them, they're here. I'm like, good stuff. So, but no, thanks again for coming on here. So,
not a problem.
With that, for those of you who don't know, again, who you are, just a quick little overview about what your position is and what you do here.
Yeah, so I am the city manager here in Ludington. I've been here for hitting 5 years in March. I'm essentially the day-to-day operations manager for the city. So the mayor runs the meetings and gets to kiss the babies, and I have to run the day-to-day operations.
So if we're looking from a business side of the house, you're like the COO, basically. You're making the operations piece.
That's exactly it.
So policy and everything's taken care of by a board and some other folks. You're the one basically tasked with implementing.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me, and I got it. So with that, first question we always start with here is, again, where are you from originally?
So it's a fun story. So I actually am from Scottville originally. So I grew up in Scottville.
Another East of Styles person.
Yep.
Good. There's lots of us out there.
A lot of us that moved to the Ludington, to the west side of Styles. But so I grew up in Scottville, relocated, and my family had the Foster Supermarket out where Gateway to Success is, where G2S is. So we had the Foster Supermarket out there until I was probably 13 or 14. And then we relocated to Big Rapids when I was 16. So...
what was it? So were you a Scottville City proper, or were you out in the county?
We were right down. I was right. So I don't even know what elementary school it's called. The lower elementary school.
Lower elementary. Yeah.
So I was across the field from the lower elementary school, just to the west.
Okay.
Lived right on North Rheinberg, across the street from the Raven family. So at the time it was Judge Raven, Dean, John, and Matt were growing up with me. And then behind them was the high school. So grew up right in that little area there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you said at 16 you moved out to Big Rapids.
Yep.
So what as far as for, I guess that's a tough transition mid-high school. But, prior to that, what was what was your experience with Scottville and going to school out there and everything?
And I think everybody has a different experience at their different times. I loved growing up in Scottville, truly did. I had a ton of friends. The field behind us we would use as an ice skating rink in the wintertime. The fire department would come over and open up a hydrant.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was a ton of fun. And having the schools that close, having teachers that I felt close with. I still remember and have interesting memories of, when I watch a Harry Potter movie, I hear Kenny G playing in my head, because Phil Quinlan was a teacher at that time, and he had a reading time, and I was reading the Harry Potter books, and he would play Kenny G during the reading time. And so I hear Kenny G all the time. So it's weird. It's like weird memories from school that I have like that. But the teachers were great. I enjoyed my time. You hit high school, and sometimes things change. And with my dad commuting back and forth to Everett every day, it was kind of an easy decision to go to Big Rapids.
Okay, and so what was that transition like, though, making, going from here, at Scottville, and then leaving the county?
Yep.
And heading over to Big Rapids.
Really, it was for me, it was a fresh start. I had kind of hit a pretty low spot as a teenager when I was 16, and so going over that way, found a new core group of people to be around to support me, and it was a school district that was phenomenal as well. one of those blue ribbon school districts, whatever awards that means. And living up the street from the high school principal at the time, so they could always keep track of you. But no, it was really good. I enjoyed my time in Big Rapids as well. A little bit larger school district, of course. Frankly, a little bit better golf course to play and practice on with Cat Key. As much as I love Lakeside and Scott Ashley over there, Big Rapids has Cat Key, which is built for college golfers and built to practice on a lot.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah, you can't. You're allowed to have favorites. It's okay. So again, you're just joining us. We're talking with Mitch Foster, the Ludington City Manager here on Leading West Michigan. Again, I'm Ryan Howe, and this show is really all about learning about our guests and their journey they've had to their current position where they're at. And I do want to go back to that one thing you said there, which is I think is really key and important to a lot of folks that understanding in life is that changing your situation is always an opportunity to start over. In the military, they moved us I moved like every 2.5 years. Yeah. It was nonstop. And every time you got there, it was a chance to, start over because younger Ryan, Airman Howe.
Yep.
Wants to operate differently. Sergeant Howe doesn't want to operate the same way. So you get a chance to restart there. And it's amazing that I want to say this here. If you take that opportunity for what it is, the ability for growth can happen quickly, which sounds like you did there. So that's great. So you mentioned golf. So was that something that you did in school as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I played golf all growing up. My dad is a big golfer, and so he got me into it early. Played all through high school, and then, just have continued now into adulthood. Wife says I play too much. Summertime, I think most of my expenses end up being at a golf course, but, you got to do what you enjoy.
There's worse addictions that parents can pass on to their children.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
And so you mentioned, at Big Rapids there, you had some opportunity, and you mentioned it was built for college golf and everything. So is it... after your time there in Big Rapids, which again, seems like you reinvented yourself, were able to refocus, and was it that you regained an appreciation for what a school could do for you in a clear area, or what the benefit was? What do you think it was?
No, I think more along the lines I found myself a little bit again, whether it was through golf or friendship, whatever it may be. I think it was a little bit of that. I always enjoyed school and enjoyed classes. It came easy to me for some reason. But the side pieces and the additional pieces that kind of come along with school, that was what was missing here at times. And so when I moved, again, fresh start, and I really I think took advantage of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you get to say we're at graduation point here right now, when did college? So what did that look like for you, and when did you decide you're going to college, and did you have any idea what you were doing when you you had a plan when you went to college?
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, there was a plan. So I ended up going to Northern, and I wore a Northern sweatshirt just because. But I ended up going to Northern. Had always planned to go to college. There was no question about that. But I was really thinking about going to some bigger school. I thought, I want to be tested academically and have a rigorous background and those sorts of things. And frankly, having a piece of paper that says a bigger school is helpful at times. Excuse me. And I went to a college fair at the DeVos place. And my dad and I are walking around looking at the different schools. I see the Michigan line has got like 60 kids. Michigan State's got like 60 kids in it. And then this northern table with these pictures of Lake Superior. And you just look at it and you're like, where is this? This is stunning. And I go over there and I talk to these people for probably 50 minutes. And they just had my dad and I have a one-on-one conversation for 50 minutes with them about Northern. And from that point, I took a college visit up there, did a Wildcat weekend. So it's a full weekend up at Northern. And during that time, they break you up into your prospective major. And I was political science. And as luck would have it, I was the only political science nerd that showed up for that Wildcat weekend. And with that, I had my own private tour of Northern for a full weekend. So you combine all of those things, and I think it really led to me making that choice easy to go to Northern.
So how did you find again, so I want to separate the college experience from the education portion of it. So how did you find the actual college education piece? And then I want to come back to the actual, experience piece. So how'd you find the education side of that for your poli-sci?
Yeah, I love Northern. The political science department was phenomenal. The history department, I was double major in political science and history. and history department was awesome. You had Dr. Cherry, who's a professor up there. He's still up there. Dr. Haynes, or David Haynes, Professor Haynes, he was my advisor for a period of time. He ended up being the president of the university. He and I are still in touch. Dr. Kendall on the history side, he did kind of Middle Eastern history. He was a pastor before he moved into academia. So it was a phenomenal school from an academic standpoint. And smaller class sizes. I mean, the biggest class I had, I think, was like human geography at 8 a.m. And it's supposed to be a class of 300, and at an 8 a.m. class every day of the week, you know, you get 100 people showing up.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So 100 people was my largest class. And I talked to friends that went to Michigan State, and they'd have 500 people in a class. And I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like the smaller size makes more sense for me.
Yeah, and that also there's, again, that's one of the things that we talk about. School boards, we all get together and we're chatting, you know, and that's when we talk about, you know, the benefits that, you know, again, Mason County Eastern Board, and that the smaller schools, you know, school size, and I can speak to it as a graduate there too. When I would go and compare notes with folks, like I had questions or concerns, and you know, I could just talk to the teacher, and they're like, anytime,
Right?
We could just stop class in the middle. Like, I'm not 100% on that. They said, no problem. Let's take a moment and do that.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, I was like, yeah. They knew our, so that, and then comparing that thing, same where I had folks that I worked with, and their schools, like their class sizes were the size of Scottville, you know, and it was just, that experience is completely different. So it's great that you had that opportunity and you recognized it too.
Oh yeah. And we had one professor. So the other nice thing about Northern at that point in time is they had these first year experience programs where political science class, or whatever your cohort was of major, you went into like a first year experience class that was like half a credit or one credit. And then you had the rest of your first year, you had the same classes as this group. And so two of my classmates at the time, Jason Morgan and TJ Weber. TJ's a professor out at UC Poly, and then Jason is a state representative out of Ann Arbor now. One of the classes was Political Science 101, and it was with Dr. William Ball. Now, this man, if you've seen Counselor Terzano, he looks exactly the same, almost the same background, both Vietnam War vets. Dr. Ball would purposely say things that were so inappropriate, rude, off the wall, politically, to get people to fight, back. It was the most entertaining thing, and he was a libertarian by choice. He passed away a couple of years ago. Libertarian, but he would go back in the breaks and go back to Vietnam because he married a Vietnamese woman, and go back and do humanitarian work. Phenomenal guy, but he would test you with like these really off the wall comments. And of course, I'm on the radio, I'm a public servant now. I'm not going to say any of those things.
Yes.
But like as a 18, 19 year old, you say those things and you're taught in high school, you don't kick back. Well, he's trying to teach you to get out of that habit right away. And so I think I learned right away in college, it's a different experience. And you know, sometimes it's okay to argue with your professor.
Oh, absolutely. Again, we're continuing our conversation with Mitch Foster, the Ludington City Manager. And, you know, I'd look at that as no different than what somebody who's having you break out, you know, learning how to do, you know, Feynman diagrams in physics or something. Like, it's when you're talking about poli-sci, and it's meant to be having open, educated discourse and conversations, you have to be able to teach people and coach them how to actually have that and be able to come back there. So that, I think, yeah, and shock and awe is always a great way to get that too, because it hits an emotional response that tends to get people going. And again, you're well aware of this on where you're at. Emotional responses kind of happen. They're part of the deal. So now on the experience side of it. Yeah. So what was that like up there?
I couldn't ask for a better experience. And I'm not going to, this is not a shameless plug. It's just a plug. Northern, if you have a student or if you are a student that is looking to go to college somewhere, Northern's the place that I would recommend anybody go. You have the opportunity to find yourself and experience the outdoors in ways that you would never experience elsewhere. But I was a year and a half in, I became a resident assistant, so I was an RA in the dorms. Loved that experience, did that for 2.5 years until I graduated. Met some phenomenal people and phenomenal friends. Did summer orientation for a year. That's how I met my wife fully. It was a great experience up there, jumping off of Black Rocks into Lake Superior, going to the Superior Dome, the world's largest wooden dome by a foot,
By foot.
By foot over a Japanese dome, I think at the time. It was a great place to be, and one that I would never give up. Plus, Marquette is also home to Marquette Country Club, which is also home to Gray Walls, which is a top 10 golf course in the state of Michigan and is phenomenal to play on a regular basis when you can afford it as a college student.
The student rate was probably pretty good. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So finished up college,
Yep.
and you did graduate with your poli-sci degree?
Yep.
Okay. What was next for you after that?
Because I was in residence life, I had really two choices. I could go and continue on in residence life and go and get a graduate degree in higher education, or I wanted, at the time, I really wanted to get into politics. And so I was looking at grad schools that I could get paid for through residence life. So I went to the Oshkosh Placement Exchange, which is this big kind of cohort of people that go looking for higher education jobs in grad school. And so I had an offer list from the University of Nevada, West Florida, and I think a Dakota. Dakota was a higher education thing. University of Nevada, I was going to go out there for a PhD in political science, and then the University of West Florida was going to be a Master's of Applied Politics and Policy, which would have been like a campaign director type route. Yeah. Went out to Nevada, and I was like, I've been to Florida. Dakota doesn't really interest me. I've never lived in a place like Nevada, and it was almost like a fresh start type deal, like moving to Big Rapids, going to the UP, going to Nevada. So I ended up at Nevada for my first visit out there. I met with the grad school director, and he said, "You are too young to go into a PhD program. How about you try an MPA?" And so that's how it ended up going out there.
And that's out in Reno, right?
Yep, out in Reno.
Yeah, that's a fun town.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's just I love the way it's set up. The way it's that small. It's got a small town feel to it with still being a larger, would be a larger city as well.
Yep.
Now that had been pretty intense though. That as far as that shift, because again, my master's work, it's very, very targeted, very specific on there, and also that type of work, you have folks in there that are focused and are very determined for that work as well. So, what was that experience like going to get your graduate work done?
Well, I was the youngest one in there because most of in Nevada, at least, it was a professional degree, and so most of the people in the course were already in local government, already in state government, and they were just coming back to get that degree.
Gotcha.
And we had a lot of crossover classes with PhD candidates. So that was the tough part. Is I'm not a research methods guy, and so that was the toughest course, where you're looking at statistical analysis for certain things in a computer-based model, and that's not my game.
Yeah, that's right in my wheelhouse. I love that stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean for me, I'm like, okay, this
sop it up with a biscuit.
Give me the subjective conversation, and I'm more happy with the public policy discussions. So that was tough, and at the same time, dealing with personal stuff here back home. My wife, at the time, my girlfriend, was going to grad school at St. Cloud State, so we were traveling back and forth. She'll say that she traveled forth more often than I went back, which is true.
I like that. Well, no wonder you don't like numbers. You're right. Keeping track. So.
Exactly. It was a great time, but it was also difficult, and just kind of really I just muddled through it for 2 years.
That, to be honest, that actually sounds like a lot of the experience that folks have, especially when you have family involved. I did my college was mostly online. I had some, with the military, I was traveling. It's nature of the beast. And then for my master's, my degree is out of Daytona, Florida. Oh. When I was living in Washington, Guam, having to do those things. But as I was talking to others who were there in person doing it, everyone had lives going on, and you just got to make it work. And I think that's one of those things that when I go back to, and I talked about young men and women, people who want to go back to college and these different areas, everyone's living their life. It's just a little bit different. They're going to have reasons that are going to make it a little bit difficult at times. Mm-hmm. But that's what college is meant to do, is to test you and say, can you get through this with everything else going on? So you get this cool piece of paper that says things, and you're able to, complete things, which then tells to others, even with stuff going on, that we can get that taken care of. So we're going to head into our first break here. And when we get back, talk about, life after Reno, what that looked like. So you're listening to Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM, at home on your Amazon Alexa or Google Home smart devices, streaming online at WMOM.FM, and live video streams on the 102.7 WMOM Facebook page and WMOM YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and get into this first break. When we get back, I'm excited to hear what your next steps were.
All right.
It's the Sale of Sales, an event like no other, December 11th through the 15th. It's time to liquidate all of the fine jewelry from Lakeshore Coins and fine jewelry in Ludington. The holidays are here, so why not take advantage of the best deals on the best selection of jewelry in the area during this All Must Go event. All the jewelry must go. Prices have been slashed to markdowns never seen before. This is a once-in-a-lifetime liquidation sale at Lakeshore Coins and fine jewelry on Ludington Avenue across from the post office. Give the gift of jewelry this Christmas season while saving more money than buying those same items from somewhere else. It's the Lakeshore Coins and Fine Jewelry Liquidation Sale going on December 11th through the 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The perfect gift awaits you this holiday season. Plus, when you purchase $100 or more in jewelry, you'll receive a unique and breathtaking sterling silver lighthouse pendant for free. Lakeshore Coins and Fine Jewelry's Holiday Liquidation Sale, December 11th through the 15th.
Get ready to dive into deliciousness. Fish Fry Fridays are making a splash at Sticks. Choose from shrimp, cod, or perch, and savor them with a side of golden fries, fresh coleslaw, and delightful hush puppies, all for just $18. Don't miss out on this mouth-watering deal. Join us at Sticks every Friday.
'Tis the season to be stylish. Experience the magic of the holidays at the Cedar Chest Consignment Shop, your one-stop destination for festive fashion. Picture this, you in your coziest PJs, unwrapping the presents by the fire on Christmas morning. At the Cedar Chest, we have a delightful collection of comfy PJs, perfect for those precious moments as you open stockings with your loved ones. And when it's time to brave the winter chill and check the mailbox for those heartwarming Christmas cards, step out in style. The Cedar Chest has a wonderful selection of boots and coats that will not only keep you warm, but have you turning heads in the neighborhood. Visit the Cedar Chest if you're searching for that perfect holiday outfit or a gift that sparkles with joy. Dress your best for less this holiday season at the Cedar Chest in beautiful downtown Ludington.
It's going to start snowing soon, and you're going to need your property cleared of snow. Whether it's your driveway, parking lot, or sidewalk, Groundworks can handle the job. Our crew of dedicated drivers will make sure you, your guests, and the public are safe from slipping and sliding on your property. Call Groundworks today for an estimate at 231-690-6994. That's 231-690-6994. Call today and be prepared for winter.
Looking for events and happenings in the area? Look no further than Mom's Fridge Magnets, presented by Watson Motors, West Michigan CMH, McGee Insurance, and Lakeshore Automotive and Tire. Another fridge magnet comes your way next.
West Michigan CMH is hiring. We offer competitive wages, have a fabulous benefit package, and we are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And did I mention some positions qualify for tuition reimbursement? You won't just be joining a team, you will be a part of a team where you can grow and thrive. Make an impact on your community. Go to WMCMHS.org and apply today.
A change in seasons is the perfect time to reflect on the past while planning for the future. At McGee Insurance Group, we have agents who can help you create a life insurance plan tailored for you and your family. We're open weekdays from 8 till 5 and are located at 5965 East Ludington Avenue. Our number is 231-845-5000. Contact us today to see what options are available for you.
Drop your letters off to any Manistee branch for Santa in the magical mailbox that delivers straight to the North Pole. Please make sure to include an easy-to-read name and full mailing address. Feel free to drop off your letters at any branch as well. The elves will make sure it gets to the big guy himself. The earlier the better. On December 14th during library hours. If your group or nonprofit organization has an announcement that you would like others to know about, reach out to us and we'll add it for free to the Fridge Magnet program thanks to Lakeshore Automotive and Tire, McGee Insurance, West Michigan, CMH, and Watson Motors.
It's Leading West Michigan, and we're back with your host, Ryan Howe, on 102.7 WMOM.
All right, welcome back. I'm Ryan Howe from Summit Business Guides, and we're continuing our conversation with Mitch Foster, the Ludington City Manager. Now, before the break, we just finished up with your time in Reno and graduating and that awesomeness that's there. And so let's talk about your first job out of school. Now you got the degree, you're dangerous. Yep. So what did that look like?
So I, again, had a choice to make. I could either continue on down the higher education path and go into a professional kind of room or realm on higher education and make my way up that way, or I had done some internships in local government while I was out in Reno, and kind of didn't get the offers that I was hoping for on the higher education side. Interviewed with the Village of Kingsley, and ended up taking that job. My wife and I were going to get married the summer of 2013 when we graduated. And so we both moved to Fife Lake, and I took the job at Kingsley.
Okay.
It was, they had a history of hiring kind of first-time managers, and they knew that they could do that because they'd get a ton out of you for a 2 to 5 year period. We'd work your tail off for those 2 to 5 years, and then they'd recycle and go again. So it was really, I had a village president that knew that was the case and wanted to work with people and wanted to bring them up, and so it was really an awesome experience.
Yeah, that is one of the things that we talk about at length when I was, as far as for training individuals and when you get them fresh out of there, those first 2 to 4 years, you need to throw everything in the kitchen sink at them to be able to build up that grid, but also that knowledge base.
Right.
So that way there are things that only come around once a generation, but just to be able to have an opportunity to even hear those stories or to have to even start the process on those things, it doesn't matter the job, but that information to be able to have that there is so important. Plus you get that grit. You're going to find out if you're going to be able to do the work or not.
Oh yeah.
Because it doesn't change just because you're on your second job or second position. It's still the grind. So.
Right. I mean, not only that, but so in smaller communities, the village manager is essentially everything. They are the city or the village manager. They are the public works director. They are the water plant superintendent. They're everything. And so it's a well-rounded experience. I'll tell you that way.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You sound like you're talking about again with Paul Shelpin, the superintendent over.
Oh yeah.
It's every single hat, you have them all stacked on top, and you're just like, which one am I tipping at this day to whoever needs it? So, and how long were you there? How long do you serve there?
So I was there for 2 years. My wife worked at Munson, so it was a 50-minute drive each way for her every day, or most days. She worked in the cardiac cath lab up there as a telemetrist. And she said after those 2 years, I don't want to live here anymore. Let's move to Wisconsin. And I said, well, let's just keep moving, I guess. So we moved to Wisconsin. I took the village manager job in the village of Winneconne, which is just outside Oshkosh. It was a nice little kind of surrounded by water town, great people. And it was an hour and a half or 2 hours from her lake house, her family's lake houses up in northern Wisconsin. So it's kind of an ideal situation.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And talk about the size difference from Kingsley to this one. What was the evolution there?
Yeah, so Kingsley was about 1,100 to 1,200 people. No real seasonal change in population. Winneconne was, I think, somewhere around the 2,400 to 2,500 people. But then would get a little bit larger, the 4,000 to 5,000 people summertime.
Gotcha.
And was kind of a popular spot for weekend tourism as well, because we had the Lake Poygan, Lake Butamore, Lake Winneconne kind of right there. So not only in the summertime with fishermen and boaters and recreational boating, but in the wintertime, that area is also very popular for sturgeon spearing.
Okay.
So if we think that ice fishing over here is kind of cool, which I don't, it bores the bejeebus out of me. Sturgeon spearing is an entirely different experience. You take a shanty, quote unquote, that looks like a small shed in your backyard. You cut a 6x6 hole in the ice. You take what looks to be a trident and you throw it at the water when you see a sturgeon. And if you've seen sturgeon, they look like small dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, they're not attractive fish in way, shape, or form. And so we're continuing our conversation here with Mitch Foster, the Ludington City Manager. And to that point also is, if I remember my, trying to think here, Discover and or Learning History Channel, there's also sometimes a light thrown in the water too to look for shadows and everything. So, so you've got to be able to figure out that shadow difference and everything. Yeah. And that shadow may not come at all.
Right. So I mean, and you don't. It's similar to like bear hunting licenses. They don't give them all out. They've got different license numbers or quotas for different areas. The community was built with a bunch of canals everywhere, we lived on one. It was beautiful in this rental. But then down the street was this sports bar. And in the sports bar during sturgeon spearing season, they would cover the pool table, all the tables with tarp. And as soon as you caught your sturgeon, there'd be the DNR shack out back that you could weigh it. And then whoever had the biggest sturgeon would go flop it down on the pool table, and they'd leave it there until the next person had the bigger one. And they'd leave it there for like a week.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it stunk to high heaven. But, I mean, that was part of the culture there.
Sure, sure.
And thankfully, they had a golf course just outside of town.
I was getting ready to ask what the golf situation was around there.
They had a golf course just outside of town, Lake Breeze, that I got really close with the owner, managing director there, Dave, who was a phenomenal person, really got me engaged with the people that golfed out there when I moved. We met some people on village council and not that we were able to talk to and hang out with. And again, being close to a larger city like Oshkosh, 2 hours from Madison, 2 hours from her lake house, it was perfect for me. And you go a step farther, I'm a Packer fan through and through. We were 45 minutes from Lambeau.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
I mean, yeah, it was perfect.
No, that's great. And I'm glad you're able to land in a spot there. Right now, there's a bunch of people on the other side of these microphones that are seething right now. Lions fans are doing their thing. So you're probably not used to that in any way, shape, or form.
And okay, let's be honest here. It's great that the Lions are having one good season in 65 years. It won't last. The Ford family still owns the Lions. They're still going to make silly decisions. It's okay. I'm proud of the Lions for one good year. The Packers did just beat them on Thanksgiving Day again. Packers are on the 3-game win streak. We'll see where we end up at the end of the year.
All right. And just remember, this is live, so they know where you're at. So,
absolutely.
All right. Now,
I look forward to an egg on this windowsill.
With that, what was, we got about 2.5 minutes here and then, get into the next break. But I'd like to talk about some of the challenges that you had in these, because the small towns, they have their own unique piece there as well. Is there one that comes to mind, basically when you're over, how do you say
Winneconne.
Winneconne, that comes to mind?
So actually, and I made a video about this, we had a lift bridge, or drawbridge, that was split the community in half. During my time there, the DOT and the village worked to plan for the replacement of that. And we started that project and got about halfway done during my time. And it was crazy because the detour for that was essentially 40 minutes around the lakes, one way or another.
Oh, my goodness.
And so the reason we had to replace it was because if it wasn't replaced, EMS, all of that stuff, we'd have major issues. And so they had to build a bridge directly next to it before they could take down the old bridge. Craziest experience to watch. Tough coordination with the DOT, trying to explain to the village residents, trying to explain it to tourists that no, the village isn't closed. Yes, you can still get across. No, nobody's closing. All those sorts of questions came up, but definitely an experience. I'll never go through a project that has such a large impact on a community like that one was.
Yeah, I know, and that logistics function, again, as we saw here, just the impact having something not readily available and working for the community, what it does, what we had with the car ferry here.
Exactly.
The immediate impact and that has on there. So especially, again, and also having to communicate that, yes, we are going to make things better at the other side of this. Just have faith. So let's go ahead and get into our next break here. So again, you're listening to Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM, at home on your Amazon Alexa or Google Home smart devices, streaming online at WMOM.FM, and live video streams on the 102.7 WMOM Facebook page and WMOM YouTube channel, which my wife is watching right now at the house with this. So let's go ahead and get into this next break. When we get back, I want to talk about a couple more challenges and then how you got here.
All right.
Embrace the festive spirit and jingle all the way to Spartan West Bowling Alley for a Christmas bowling extravaganza. Gather your friends and family for a jolly time on the lanes as we transform Spartan West into a winter wonderland of holiday cheer. With the sound of pins falling like snowflakes, enjoy special Christmas-themed games and activities for bowlers of all ages. The lanes will be aglow and the atmosphere merry and bright. Join us for a holly jolly Christmas bowling experience at Spartan West, where the joy of the season meets the thrill of striking those festive pins. See you on the lanes for a celebration like no other. For more information, call 231-757-2391. That's 231-757-2391.
Introducing Canada's Next Grip Boots, now here in Ludington and Manistee, featuring a cutting-edge retractable cleat system, only at Snyder's Shoes. Keep your feet warm and dry this season with a wide selection of waterproof and insulated boots for both men and women, including trusted brands like Sorel, Uggs, and Boggs. For those outdoor enthusiasts, Snyder's has you covered with insulated hiking boots from Keen and Oboz. Perfect for all your adventures. Snyder Shoes is proud to be Footwear Insight's Gold Medal Service Award recipient for exceptional customer service, ensuring you have the best shopping experience possible. Join Snyder Shoes in celebrating 85 years of providing top quality footwear. Visit Snyder Shoes, conveniently located in downtown Ludington and downtown Manistee. Don't let your feet go naked. Visit Snyder Shoes and step into comfort, style, and durability. Discover why Snyder Shoes has been a trusted name for 85 years.
When it comes to shopping smart and sustainable, Yada Yada Resale is your go-to destination. Here, every item tells a story and each purchase contributes to a cycle of conscious consumption. With a curated selection of gently used clothing, furniture, and unique finds, Yada Yada Resale offers an eco-friendly alternative to traditional retail. Embrace the thrill of the hunt while discovering quality items at affordable prices. Whether you're on the lookout for vintage treasures or contemporary pieces, shopping at Yada Yada Resale means making environmentally conscious choices without compromising on style or quality. Join Yada Yada Resale in promoting a culture of reuse and let your shopping make a positive impact on both your wallet and the planet.
Experience the magic of Ludington like never before at Todd Embroidery Photography, where a team of skilled photographers, including Rachel Gaudette, capture the very essence of this glorious season. We're here to make your visit convenient, open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Beyond our breathtaking photographs, you'll discover a treasure trove of delights, from books and greeting cards to magnets and stylish shirts. Feeling inspired? Join our photography workshops to master the art of capturing the world's natural beauty just like we do. Visit us in the heart of downtown Ludington. At Todd Embroidery Photography, with the incredible contributions of Rachel Gaudette, we don't just capture moments, we capture lasting memories. For more details, call our studio at 231-843-0777 or explore our website at toddembroidery.com.
It's Leading West Michigan, and we're back with your host, Ryan Howe, on 102.7 WMOM.
All right, so welcome back to Leading West Michigan. I'm Ryan Howe with Summit Business Guides, and we are continuing our conversation with Mitch Foster, the Ludington City Manager and Packers fan.
Bingo.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
So, and I did have a couple texts, as I was telling folks here, in defense of Mitch on certain things, so I will not share their names to protect the not so innocent, but they just want to remain anonymous.
Makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. So, that's... Is there anything else maybe that you learned there? Because again, the next step really making this direction, was there anything else? Because the seasonal towns are so challenging to learn how to be able to maneuver.
Yeah.
So was there anything else you want to speak to about that?
Yeah, I think it's not just the seasonal towns, where you've got the tourism. Waterfront towns are different too. They attract a different type of person, more laid back, more relaxed, even if they're from, they grew up in the Chicago area. They're just more relaxed generally. I think that, over there I had a much larger system in general. We had a wastewater plant that was fairly large. We had a water plant that was fairly large. I had a village council that was active. So it was little things like that were things and experiences that I had to adjust to. And I was there for 4 years and really got a great experience. Enjoyed it. And, things just come to an end.
Yeah.
I still get texts and calls. We had a library over there that was under me, which was a whole new experience. And thank goodness I don't have that anymore. Mm-hmm. But, I still get texts and calls from those folks every once in a while about it. And great people, just, different points in life, and we go different places.
Yeah, I know. It's, And that's one thing, military, you definitely learn.
Oh, right.
My entire feed that I have on my Facebook friends there's folks I haven't talked to in probably 20 years, but I see them and their families and growing, it's just, but we'll send a message every now and again just to see there, which is fantastic. Okay. So what brought you to this neck of the woods?
Yeah. To this little hamlet.
To come home, boomerang, like some of the rest of us.
Yeah. Which I had no intention of. None. When I was in Wisconsin, we were on US 10, the same US 10 that goes through here, that comes across in the Badger. And so we would use the Badger a lot to come back and visit my family in Everett. My wife and I had always talked about that there were a handful of jobs that I would apply for no matter what. Petoskey being one, East Grand Rapids being one, and then eventually Ludington ended up being one of those as well. And so as luck would have it, I had gone to an International City County Manager Association conference, I think in Charlotte, North Carolina, and John Shea, the city manager at the time here, had announced that, or told me that he was going to be leaving. And so in talking with some of my colleagues and friends from here, they were like, why not apply, Mitch? And I said, yeah, we'll see. I'll talk with my wife. So I got back, and she said, yeah, go for it, and applied for this one in East Grand Rapids at the same time. Came over like the early part of January, I think, to East Grand Rapids to do an interview. Got second in the process there, drove back to Wisconsin, then came back over the next weekend with my wife, interviewed here. It was one of the polar vortexes. Mm-hmm. I remember staying in the Stearns, walking out the night that we got here. It was like 10:30. Walking out in the middle of Ludington Avenue, looking west, looking east. There was not a soul in sight, and it was -5. And we had driven up 196 coming through the Zealand area, and it was just horrible weather, like snow squalls, whole 9 yards. And I was like, why am I coming over here again? Like, the lake effect snow is so frustrating. But interviewed, I think I interviewed well. I had people that were, I think, advocating for me. My family still knew a bunch of people. And I got updates from people as they were watching the live stream of the meeting. Woke up the next morning, and I think I got to about like 10 o'clock in the morning and got a phone call from my staff in Wisconsin saying, hey, heard you got the job. And I hadn't been offered yet. But another radio station in the area called them because they had heard the news. I called them and asked what their thoughts were on me getting the job. And I hadn't been offered yet. And so I got a call from the recruiter later, about 2 hours after that I was offered the job. My wife and I went out to the Holiday Inn after that, stayed another night, and made the decision the next day and kind of accepted.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's, I'm going to go back to the beginning of your conversation there, and that when, when opportunities are there, and it's, if you don't have, I don't say dream jobs, and
right.
And I think that's a good way to say it. It's not necessarily that, but let's say they're dream jobs.
Yeah.
Everyone should have those. And when the opportunity does arise that you can throw your name into the hat, the worst thing that you're going to get is no.
Exactly.
Like, that's it. And I wish more people had that figured out and would just take that step, because rejection, it's a huge part of life.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But that's great that you guys had that and had the foresight to say, okay, here's the areas we want to be. And if it popped up, and now you landed back here.
Yeah.
So what was the family's reaction to, hey, we're coming back?
So her family was not happy because her whole family's in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And they knew that would mean fewer time up at the lake in the summertime, less time in the wintertime to see each other, those sorts of things. So they were a little saddened. My family, my sister at the time was in Ferndale. My parents, my dad was in Everett. My grandparents are in Everett. And they were excited. We have a different relationship than my wife's family. And so we always knew that we would make the drives back to see my family. Her family is a little bit tougher just because of the lake.
Yep.
And so I think it was just a recognition that, it's not just about the family, but we had a better support group here. And from a professional standpoint, I had a better support group here.
Okay.
My peers and colleagues in the management profession over here are much more impactful for me, and have been long-term friends at this point in time.
As far as for those of the professional support groups that you have, who would that be? Just if you want to, without throwing everybody under the bus.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, I've got a core group of 5 of us that have a text group that is regular. Julia Succi, who's in Ada Township. Christian Worth is in Milford. Matt Baumgardner is in Berkeley. Nate Geinzer was in Brighton, just finished up the interim in Traverse City, and now he's got his own kind of private consulting. And then Aaron DeSense, who is now over in Mount Pleasant. And so we text every day, multiple times a day, whether it's personal, professional. It's just a good support group. And the moment I moved to Wisconsin the first time around, they said, when are you moving back? And kept sending me job openings and those sorts of things. And now that I'm back, it's just really helpful and thankful.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that. And that's another piece that when I talk with individuals, a lot of clients I have to coach them about, and just in general when I'm mentoring some of the younger men and women that I come across, is you need to have 2 groups, 2 solid groups. One of them's got to be the work people.
Yep.
That you can bounce work ideas off and those pieces, because everybody's got different things that they touch from that professional piece.
Right.
And anyone who's been, as you get experience, you realize that only getting opinions from the particular job that you're doing does not give you a well-rounded, view on those things. There's a lot of best practices elsewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And to be able to have that disparate group out there is fantastic. My core group, it's folks we've kind of gotten over the years. I've got folks that are all over, basically over the world at this point. They all different jobs across the board, and I'll put something out, and we all do. We say, hey, I need help on this. So, it's great to hear that. And same thing with the family, that also the personal support group too, to be able to have that, especially as you move up. Right. The number of peers that you work with drops,
right?
And you've got to be able to have both that on that work and also what we call the life portion of it. Other areas there too, especially as we all get older now, we got families.
Yep.
We got to have other people that we can chat with about family stuff, because you don't want to bring that into the work piece. So, all right, well, we are getting ready to head into our final break, and we get back. I'd like to be able to hear more about what's going on currently that you have here. What challenges you see coming up into next year in the city, and just your viewpoint on where we're at. So it'd be great. So you're listening to Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM, at home on your Amazon Alexa or Google Home smart devices, streaming online at WMOM.FM, and live video streams on the 102.7 WMOM at WMOM Facebook page and the WMOM YouTube channel. So let's get in the break, and when we get back, again, let's hear what's going on next here in Ludington.
Your heart is vital to your health. Corewell Health's Ludington Hospital has 3 board-certified cardiac specialists right here in Ludington at 7 Atkinson Drive, Suite 302. Talk to your doctor if you have concerns about your heart health. With local cardiology services now available, we make it convenient to get the care you need right here. To learn more or to schedule an appointment, call 231-291-8115.
Do you enjoy refunds on ATM withdrawal fees, building savings automatically, no monthly maintenance fees, and free digital banking? Well, Safe Harbor Credit Union offers a free checking account that pays 5% APY on balances up to $15,000. You can open your account within minutes. Innovative checking built on traditional values. Free Kasasa Cash rewards you for supporting your community. Some key features include high dividends, refunds on ATM withdrawal fees, no monthly maintenance fees, and no minimum balance requirements. To learn more, check out our website at safeharborcu.org or come visit us at our office at 5511 US 10. Member, owner, neighbor. Here, you're one and the same. Safe Harbor Credit Union.
Aaron Doan here. Christmas is coming, and that means new toys. From new vehicles to snowmobiles, diamond earrings to a brand new laptop. Be sure to give our office a call about getting the right insurance coverage in place. My team and I are here to make sure your holiday gifts are covered. Again, that's Aaron Doan State Farm in Ludington. Give us a call at 231-757-3115. That's 231-757-3115.
Mom's Fridge Magnets are community calendar announcements presented by Watson Motors, West Michigan, CMH, McGee Insurance, and Lakeshore Automotive and Tire. Another fridge magnet comes your way next.
Lakeshore Automotive and Tire, your brake system experts in Ludington. Your safety is our priority, and our expert mechanics will ensure your brakes are in top shape, from brake pads to rotors and shoes. We've got you covered. Don't wait. Schedule your brake inspection now and drive with confidence.
Hi, this is Lori. West Michigan CMH offers substance use groups in Lake, Mason, and Oceana counties. We provide education, tools, and support to assist in long-term recovery. Build a sober, supportive network and help individuals recognize that recovery is fun. Call us today at 1-800-992-2061. That's 1-800-992-2061.
Manistee County Library is having a movie played on December 28th for all kids. The movie will start at 4:30 and run till about 5:30. Grab the family and head to Manistee County Library on Maple Street and attend this free movie. If your group or nonprofit organization has an announcement that you would like others to know about, reach out to us and we'll add it for free to the Fridge Magnet program thanks to Lakeshore Automotive and Tire, McGee Insurance, West Michigan, CMH, and Watson Motors.
It's Leading West Michigan, and we're back with your host, Ryan Howe, on 102.7 WMOM.
All right, so welcome back. I'm Ryan Howe with Summit Business Guys, and we're on to the final segment with Mitch Foster, the Ludington City Manager. It's been a great hearing your story of the journey, the journey you had and the impact that you've had and the places you've went to, but also just the focus you've had from a very young age that you wanted to be one of those individuals who will there to listen to people and try to help solve problems. That is the way I've always looked at it with folks who want to be in the public service realm.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where you want to get to. So with that, what's going on in Ludington? Anybody you want to give a shout out to? Floor's yours. The mic's yours at this point.
Yeah, and I'll have to have you come in every once in a while. As you can tell, my throat is not participating with me today very well. But no, I got lucky here. We've got a great community, a great city council. When I was hired, it continues to be a great city council now. Mark Barnett, as the mayor, is doing a phenomenal job, kind of leading us in the next years here in Ludington. What we're seeing right now, at least, and I think Brandy Miller talks about this a lot from the Chamber's perspective, is a transition still on the economic side to truly more of a tourism-based economy with a bunch of good, big businesses. Mm-hmm. The announcement yesterday from Metalworks acquiring the firm out of Norton Shores.
Yeah, I saw that.
Great news. It's an expansion of lines to things that they don't currently produce at Metalworks. It brings into the fold another family-owned business. It's those sorts of things that will continue to push Ludington and Mason County into the future. We have positive things on the economics front. We have positive things on people wanting to live here front. However, housing will continue to be a problem.
Yes.
I think we all recognize that we do not have enough housing at all income levels. When you're a professional, it took my wife and I 2 years to find a house. And we weren't looking at a low income house or low income affordability house where there isn't any. We were looking at more of the middle range of housing, and you couldn't find anything.
Yeah. I had to build one in Custer.
Right.
Yeah, and it took me a year and a half planning.
Yeah, ours was a pocket listing. We heard from through the grapevine that somebody was going to be building a house, and so we went through the house that they were currently living in, and thank goodness we liked it and bought it. But it's just it's not working out right now for a lot of people, and so that's a problem that we have to try to fix. And thankfully, we've got people like Christy Zimmerman that's working on this. We brought in Ryan Kilpatrick from Flywheel to work with us on this. The Mason County Board of Commissioners and Fabian Nizaki are working on this as well with us. The city of Scottville. All of the governmental agencies, all of the nonprofits, from Lynn Russell to Monica Schuyler, each of these groups are trying to work on this important issue. And I think the public has to understand that it's not something that's going to get solved overnight. In situations like when Live Wildwood had the fire, just make it that much more difficult in the short run.
Yeah, the number of units that come off just like that are done, and what the impact that has. Mm-hmm. Kurt Vanderwall had his office hours in, and I had a chance to stop in there and chat, listen to what he had to say, and it was, again, housing was something that he brought up as well too. So from a state, local, city, municipality, everyone understands that. And I was with Christy. She did I was at one of the focus groups that they had.
Right.
And just listening how they're going about that. And again, just continuing to collect data and input to be able to get to the point where we can start making some longer term decisions on those. But like with anything where I came from in Maine, the planning cycle's long. Once you identify something, you're looking at a 5-year before you start seeing something. A lot of times shovels are even hitting the ground.
Right. I mean, it's a 30-year problem that's going to take 30 years to get out of it, really. If you think back to the late 90s, we stopped building starter homes, and builders found that they could make more money building McMansions and subdivisions. And that just puts us behind the 8 ball when it comes to trying to build out for affordability.
Yeah, absolutely. As I came from, where I was at in Portland, that's exactly what they were doing. They were coming in, and all of the homes, there was nothing. We actually bought one of the show homes they had for development. So it was the one that everybody had walked through a bunch, but it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just a smaller one. And when we put it for sale, we were, because the rest were McMansions that were for sale.
Yep.
I mean, our house sold in less than 4 hours.
Exactly.
And it was a cash buyers because we were the only one that would be a starter home.
Yeah.
Within 50 miles. That was for sale. Everything else was McMansions, these huge lots, and just the stuff that people just couldn't afford. So that's good. Again, I know that's the thing that they're working towards, and it gets, it's not going to get solved overnight. It's going to be a 1% fix here, 1% fix there. With that, we've got, about a minute and a half left. Is there anybody in particular, last words you want to have out here?
I'm thankful to people like Buddy Reed, Jason Miney, my wife. But Jason Miney, Buddy Reed, Jackie Steckel, Erica Reed out at the golf course. Those folks.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, but really, Erica introduced me to now one of my good friends, Mason Husby. Got my wife and I out in the golf course and really engaged with a bunch of people. Jason Miney, Buddy Reed, those were people that welcomed us into the community. Yeah, I'm really thankful. My wife for putting up with these moves over and over again. She's over at Ludington Woods as the executive director, does a phenomenal job. It's a great place to be. If you're listening to this and you're not in Ludington, you're not from Ludington, move to Mason County. This is a great place to be. Great place to open up businesses, as you know, Ryan. Yep. We're a supporting community, a supportive community. And hopefully, we can continue to do that as we welcome in new people, boomerangs like you and I. And people wanting to retire here or open business here.
Absolutely. And again, getting ready to close out here. So, and that's that piece here. One of the reasons I came back was to help businesses and to help organizations wherever I can, because, we do want this to be a place that people can come live and work.
Exactly.
Be able to have that. So, again, that's about all the time we have for today. Again, Mitch, I want to thank you for joining and share your leadership journey. And, this place is so much better for having you here and with your guidance experience bringing along here and ability to navigate the population here to be able to meet their needs. So
it's the job. And I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day and they said, how can you do it? And I said, it's a job. I don't take it personally.
Yeah, it's the work. So again, I'm always looking for new leaders to have on this program and give them an opportunity to share their stories. I'm interested in leaders in every aspect of the community: education, municipal, business, and nonprofit. So if you know a leader making an impact, go to summitbusinessguides.com/leadingwestmichigan and submit their name for consideration. Now, if you're having difficulties getting through to your employees and you're not sure how to help them do better at work, and you're not sure how to get started with that, coming soon is basically entering its 25th year is the 2024 edition of Coaching for Performance. It's going to be launching in late February, and I developed this course, and I've used this for decades to train leaders to be better, more effective coaches to their employees. This version will be available either individually online or in person for groups. And to learn more about how I help companies develop people, processes, and profit, visit summitbusinessguides.com. Follow Summit Business Guides on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, be sure to connect with me personally on LinkedIn. That's Ryan Howe. And send me a note at ryan@summitbusinessguides.com. So thank you for joining us as we continue to learn more about the amazing people leading West Michigan.
You've been listening to Leading West Michigan with Ryan Howe, a weekly program where you hear success stories of local officials and